There was a lot of mystery.
I had actually no idea.
It did sound a little bit jargony to me, excite, innovate, ideas, collaborate.
What is she talking about?
At the end of the first day, my head felt like it was going to explode.
I thought, wow, this is insane. What does this have anything to do with us?
Why do I need to know this?
I feel silly. Can I go home now?
I was worried about the fact that I had committed 3 full-time people to attending.
How is it going to help me do my job?
Given a broad initiative to transform your library, we thought, well, what does that really mean? How are we going to transform libraries if we can't address the needs of the librarians? It's about the overriding culture of the library, the way staff interacts with each other, but also the way staff interacts with their public and their partners and their stakeholders.
For so long, our profession didn't change much, and then all of a sudden it started changing very quickly. And that required a new way of thinking for leaders in libraries.
We really need to evolve and morph into something more.
We need to be willing to change, and change in ways that we have no idea of what's going to happen.
The Excite program had just basically everything that we needed at the end. It was just the perfect fit.
This is a different level of professional development. The how to manage my library professional development programs, this is very different from that sort of program. They're all important, and I think it builds on, hopefully, strengths of previous programming.
The Excite program, I think, is different because it almost is like a whole library approach.
It takes you to the next level.
Excite is vital to the survival of the library.
It was like learning a new language.
A whole new vocabulary, a whole new way of doing brainstorming and thinking of new ideas.
What I really now think about are motivations. What are people's motivations?
The phrase that I keep coming back to is solve fors. I'm using it in my everyday life now.
What would have to be true? That was something that I hadn't thought about before, but boy, I use it all the time now.
The Excite program puts the community and our patrons front and center.
I liked that the program brought the community into the library and got librarians talking to people in the community about what their needs and experiences are.
The Excite program gave me the tools to be able to interact with the community in a different way.
What somebody tells you may not be really that deeper desire, that deeper need or want that they have. So we learned our process to be able to kind of dig deeper
and uncover the motivations of why people want what they want.
And within an hour, they were freely sharing ideas and feelings and thoughts that you thought you would never get them to share.
I feel way more confident that I'll be able to talk to anyone and be a part of focus groups.
What the Excite program did for me was gave me tools to use targeted questions to get them to talk and maybe express things that they didn't have the language to express, and then go to design.
One of the things that I found really valuable about Excite was learning how to generate truly innovative ideas instead of doing what we've done in the past, which is just stick with safe ideas that we know we're able to easily implement.
The whole ideation process was totally the opposite of how I approach problem solving in my own brain, which is very much the funnel approach.
I thought the whole process was really great for idea generating and involvement.
Being a lot more optimistic about ideas that may seem out of the range of what we normally do or how we normally think.
We can have permission to think of the crazy, outside of the box ideas, and eventually all of that is going to help and be distilled down into something that's useful, that's the community wants.
We learned to sort of implement the system of solve fors. So if we come up with some crazy idea, we have a way to make those ideas work in real life.
So one of the most useful tools that I feel I got from this whole Excite Innovation program was actually the iteration and the iterative process.
We would get to this point where we were really proud of what we had done, and then the next day we came back and we kind of had to tear it all down But then we got to put it back together and it was even stronger. And it just was this iterative process where whatever project we were working on got stronger and stronger.
Storyboards and story concepts can paint a really compelling picture of a program or a design or a new service and get people excited.
I think when you start looking through a program or a service through the lens of a storytelling scenario, it really makes you focus on the human and the community and the real value of what it is, why we're doing it. So I thought that was very important.
I truly believe the storytelling tool was very important. And last week we had at the Southern Branch an evening of classical guitar. My objective was to have 50 people, and as a result of the way I saw, the program, effectively I had 50 people on Thursday.
And then also the fail forward I enjoyed very much. We're used to doing our programs, and if they don't work after a couple months, we just kind of abandon it and we'll just try something else and we leave it. Instead of giving ourselves permission to take what works from the program and what doesn't work.
What we learned in this program is that it's okay to fail, as long as we're learning something from it.
The business model canvas has actually been an invaluable tool to me. It's a timeline, it's a process chart. So whenever I am thinking about introducing a new program or implementing a new service, I can sort of use this template to really map out the whole program and the process. So it's now sort of become part of my everyday work life.
Our team had to make a presentation to a panel of experts.
I never would have imagined on the very first day coming up with the business model and the whole pitch. I mean, I've been a librarian for a long time. I've never done anything like that.
Having to make the pitch and really think about, okay, wait a minute, what is it that we are going to say? What is it we want to get across from this program? What is the value?
Being a judge was a really interesting experience. I was struck by the creativity, the enthusiasm, the diversity of projects, which I was also impressed with, the level of involvement. I thought there was a lot of teamwork. I thought most of them were trying to do something that they hadn't done before.
The idea that collaboration is a skill and a tool and something that can be learned is really a powerful idea.
It helps to build a team.
My biggest takeaway is the trust that developed between my teammates.
We built this confidence and this process together, and we learned something that was new to all of us together.
We amazed ourselves. And I think that was pretty much it. I amazed myself too. I did that, we did that. How did we do that?
I think it was a really cool transformation from being in our separate places to having something that was bringing us together on a regular basis.
I've gone to a lot of workshops, I've taken a lot of webinars, and you learn little bits of information and it's cool and you get excited about it, but when you come back to your library, you kind of forget about it. But with Excite, you're accountable to all the members of your group, you're accountable to everyone in your library, to all the other librarians from other libraries. So this extra accountability really forces you to actually implement everything that you've learned.
Boot camp was really boot camp. We worked together and learned together. I will now have a relationship with those other libraries and librarians.
It really strengthens us as a profession.
It really addressed the entire mindset of a librarian.
Buzzwords weren't buzzwords. There was real meaning and depth and usefulness there.
I was very, very inspired. Our staff learned so much from it, and they felt that they had grown, bonded with their coworkers, learned skills that helped them in their job, but helped them as future library leaders.
There was a sort of eye-opening, sort of mind-bending thing that happened. We came out really just knowing so much more about how to innovate.
So you come out of this whole process feeling really empowered and really strong and proud of what you've done.
And it's opened my eyes. The way I used to see things, the way I used to approach things is very different.
This way of working, this way of thinking is critical.
This whole experience allowed me to come out of my shell.
When we had gotten to the end, I was confident. I don't want to say cocky, but I'll say very confident.
It actually comes together, and when it does, it feels really good.
Huge transformation for me personally.
Just incredible, I think.
For me, it changed how I felt about my job and about my workplace.